I received a thoughtful email from one of my followers, and one of the questions was about great podcast recommendations for people who are non-technical so they can learn more about LLMs and AI. That's me, I'm non-technical. I can share some resources that I think will be useful for you, and we're going to do it as part of the Great Lock-In. This is day 12. I'm catching up on the videos, so let's get straight into it. There are so many great resources out there, but I'm going to suggest 3 ways in which you can accelerate your learning. They're all resources that I've used to some extent. The context for this is data and research, but these recommendations apply across the board, so hopefully they'll be useful to anyone watching this. When it comes to AI learning, it's much easier to watch things where you're shown what to do rather than when you're told what to do. And I think that's where sometimes podcasts can be really limiting. In most situations, podcasts are audio, so you're listening and you can learn things on the strategic level. But in terms of how to do things, what you want is a video resource. The first recommendation here is How I AI by Claire Vaux. This podcast, I believe, is an offshoot of the very famous and well-known Lenny's podcast, which is focused on product but has now extended to a whole variety of areas. What I love about Claire is she brings guests on who are industry experts. They work in specific functions and they will have used AI to practically solve a problem, whether this is helping the company to reach its metrics, to save money, to work more efficiently, etc. She will talk with the guest and they will go in and they will describe the thing that they're doing. I find this so useful when it comes to learning around AI. And what I like about her podcast is she's covered a lot of different topics. I couldn't find a specific data or research one there, but honestly, I would actually email her and say, hey, I've watched a couple of episodes. I love the podcast. I would love to see an episode on this. We all have free will. This is definitely something that we can do. The second resource I would recommend is Section AI. Section AI have done a lot of work with AI implementation in companies, but they also have some resources for individuals. Looking at their website, there's certain courses for free, but they also have some paid courses coming up. There's one for researchers, there's one for data analysts. These are coming up quite soon. I believe the cost there is around $195 to $200, so it's not free. But what I like about these is they are function specific. So that's another resource that you can use. In terms of a completely free resource, one thing I love to do is to actually ask the LLM to teach me how to do the thing that I want to learn. This is a very underused way of working with LLMs, but it can be so beneficial. Of the 3, ChatGPT, Claude, and Perplexity, I find Perplexity is really good for asking to break things down step by step. But quite often, if it's a subject area that I'm not familiar with, I will literally ask each of them a question and I will see what responses they give me. I hope these recommendations are really useful. I'm always excited to hear podcast or resource recommendations that people have around AI. So please let me know in the comment box below and I will see you in the next video.